Welcome to the Salt Circle Podcast. My name is Hank. With me is the fulfiller, Ben.
Oh man, I'm getting all these great roles lately. It's incredible. Even though I don't want to be the fulfiller, but
Being the fulfiller is bad.
being the fulfiller kind of sucks. Man,
You die and become mind.
we read Rice Boy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a webcomic. You gave me a list of shit to pick out, and some of it, like Rice Boy, did not really have much in the way of synopsis. Like, you know, there's a lot of the Marvel stuff, the Spider-Man thing. Like, there were Wikipedia pages. Like, there was a good like plot overview, what it was about, all that shit.
Yeah.
Rice Boy didn't have that, so and there was like maybe a couple of other things that didn't. So I was like literally just checking out the first few pages. When I said I think we should do Rice Boy, I was already on like page 22. I was ready to keep going. Like, I guess this is the one.
That's funny.
And then like, I mean, like you said, it's not dense, but also it's just fucking good. So I slammed that shit.
Yep. Yep.
It's
There's not like a shitload of dialogue. Is really what I meant by dense.
This is the sort of thing that like, the kind of thing that I'm starting to appreciate more, and that it's, first off, it clicks right along, but it's also like the thing honestly that I was comparing it to in my mind was oh shit. It's not Monster. Monster is the manga, right? What the hell is it? There was a thing that I was reading. I remember I talked about it on a Cell Pilot. It was like a high fantasy web comic or comic, just actual comic. And I bailed because like it's high fantasy and there's so much there, like they want to introduce all these politics, all these characters, all this shit, but it's not finished. So like by the time new shit comes out, I will have forgotten all of that.
Sure.
But that was kind of the thing I was comparing it to, because Rice Boy hit like all of these fucking high fantasy notes and like all of this shit, except it's hyper condensed and it pops right along. Like we're not spending 50 pages on like the Frog Prince. We're not spending another 100 pages like establishing the lore of the thought trees and all this other stuff. Like, you get these high concepts that are incredible, but then you just go to the next thing. And it's amazing because I like those concepts. They fucking hit. They make me think. Like, they make me imagine. And I get to just imagine about these things that I'm told about while we continue doing the thing that the comic is setting out to do. It's incredible. Like, it was so good. I just got to sit and, like, think about this little world, and it was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're not spending like more than like 13 pages at any given scene or setting or whatever, right?
Yeah.
At a time before it's jumping to something else.
Or like,
as we're doing.
How is his friend's name pronounced? Gerund?
Gerund, I think. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's spelled like Gerund.
Have I literally ever heard these things said out loud?
Like, maybe I'm just missing it.
Talking to a friend about it.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Maybe you watched an interview with the creator or something. You go deep on shit sometimes. I don't fucking know.
It's fair.
Maybe you spent a year just going ham. Yeah, Gerund. One of the great examples is like when they're on the Lonely Land, and Jaren and Jaren gets captured, and then he just like breaks his horn and like stabs the dude and gets away. That could have been like 100 pages in another thing.
Sure.
But it's just a thing that happens. But like, because of this setting and like the tropes they're setting up and all this stuff, everything just feels incredibly grand, even though like visually and kind of pace wise, like it's not, if that makes sense. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's just so good. Also, the dialogue and the art is endearing as hell.
Oh yeah.
Do you want tea?
It's just
yeah. Yes, I would like tea, please. Like, it's just so good.
It's like simple, but in a way that's good.
Yeah, it's
I
just
don't know.
it's very bare bones, like honest, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like that sort of, I don't know, like Rice Boy just being like, Jared, I missed you.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like it feels like distilled for like Rice Boy feels like the distilled version of like the hobbits from Lord of the Rings. Just like he's just a little guy.
Yeah, he's just a
He
dude.
wants to have some tea. He's
Yeah,
just a
man.
little guy.
And he doesn't want to do the thing,
He,
but then he's like, I mean, I guess I'll go look.
uh-huh. Yeah, his refusing the call is like, I don't want to do that. I guess I'll do it. Like the next morning, I can just take a look.
Yeah, yeah. Man.
Like you're not. It's just doing the hero's journey, chosen one trope, but it's just doing it very well.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, and like the art and stuff just like keeps being compelling
Yeah. Oh my god.
and cool.
The like cutesy way he does eyes is just so good.
Mhm.
Like it gets me every time. Like every time Jaren looks sad, I'm just like, oh no. Oh no. His little eyes.
Jaren's stuffing another piece of food into his face.
Yeah, or like he looks sad, but then he's eating like a cookie or whatever.
Mhm.
Man, dude, his intro though, like, oh, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were dead. I can't just be
I
next.
should probably get off your boat.
I can't be on an alive person's boat. Oh, that shit's so great. And like I don't know, we got like such a good amount of time with like the villain too, like the frogs, in that they don't show up constantly. Like we're not constantly getting their point of view, but like that backstory is fucking good. Like, oh, we called him
Yeah.
the fucking prophesized one, and that went poorly.
Mm-hmm.
Shit's
And now his shitty son is fucking nuts.
yeah. Like, I'm gonna be the fulfiller. Okay, that's not how it works.
It's how his dad wrote it works in that book.
But even like,
It's in the book.
but even that,
He
like,
wrote it down, Ben. That
even-
means it's just true.
even that acknowledgement, like it's like some double think shit, right? Where like he knows that's not how it works because he needs to kill the one electronic, but at the same time, like
Yeah.
he's like, this is how it works.
Mhm.
But also,
He's like, he's fully bought in on his own bullshit.
yeah. Man. So this was you said you read this like as it was coming out. It was like what,
Yeah.
2008-ish?
2000. It finished in 2008.
Finished in
Started in
2008.
2006.
Okay.
So it ran for like 2 years.
That's such a long time for such a short thing. Like going through it all now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, you get like, a couple pages a week or whatever.
Yeah. Makes sense. Have you read his other stuff at all?
I fell off somewhere in the middle of Vatu. Just because falling off of keeping up with comics. And that one was just, that one, when I was following with it, I just remember it being a little too slow
Sure.
for keeping up with. And I don't remember Order of Tales at all. I read the whole fucking thing and I remember liking it, but I just don't remember it. This is the
Sure.
one that's just stuck with me the most out of the stuff. Like I've read, of the other stuff of his I've read, I'd say.
Okay.
There's something about like the way he applies those well-worn tropes, but pretty well. It's just like stuck with me, I would say.
Yeah, man. No, he's doing like some Lord of the Rings shit. But without
Yeah.
like almost any dialogue is wild.
Mm-hmm. It feels like distilled in the right ways. Like he like got rid of parts that aren't. It doesn't drag or whatever, but it's still like, here's this episode with this weirdo.
Yeah.
Like that, like just sort of adventure serial kind of thing, or like I forget the type of book that's called, that like Huckleberry Finn is, where like you're just going into this other world that has its own thing going on, and then you move on. You don't like get stuck there forever.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, it's definitely a good way of putting it. And that's like what helps make it feel like so grand, because you're seeing all this different shit. But yeah, it's not like Tolkien where you're spending hundreds of pages.
Yeah, and like it has the Lord of the Rings thing of, you have Rice Boy and you've got the one electronic going their separate paths, but it's all leading to the same thing eventually, kind of fulfilling this thing or whatever.
They also,
but they're separated into, like, they don't know what's going on with each other.
Yeah, he does. I mean, one of the things that he does that is probably also why I got hooked so easily is the same thing Tolkien is good at, and that there's so many little things that aren't necessarily the focus. They're just like a little side flavor for whatever thing we're dealing with. But like the world, he makes it feel old. Like he applies that sense of scale, and just like with the one electronic being like, thousands of years old or whatever, like he gives that vibe well, and I think that's harder to do than some people think. Like,
yeah, like he has a history for the world written out, and like that stuff comes up, but it's not, he never drowns in it.
yeah,
It's just like, we're just interacting it with here in this way because of what's going on currently with the main story as we move through the world or whatever.
yeah. It's like, I mean, the thing, the thing that caught me, a small detail, is very similar to one that is kind of like my go-to example in Fellowship of the Ring, which is where like we get a one-off line about Tom Bombadil like looking at some area, or like a ruin or something that's nearly a cave or some small area, and it's like a throwaway line about how this used to be a great kingdom and now there's literally nothing here, like not even ruins barely. And that sort of shit, just like, that throwaway shit, making the world feel super old. And for Rice Boy, it was the secret mark that One Electronic had for, I forget the name of that also a secret kingdom, like to enter and shit. That stuff is great. Hits.
Yeah, it's just good.
Hits for me.
God, will we get like Rice Boy's origin of that
Yeah.
creature, like cutting off its head tentacle?
Yeah.
Becomes Rice Boy.
Fucked up face.
Uh-huh.
And they all cut off their head tentacle.
Uh-huh. And then all the other Rice Boys get fucking murdered as he escapes.
Yeah.
The One Electronics white coat.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Man, all of the little
Gandalf the White shit.
So what, and getting like the three, what were his three transformations? Was it him like dying the first time?
Him in a purple coat. I mean, it was just like, they only really showed like the look, so it's just him starting out.
Yeah.
Him getting his face stabbed, and then now he's in his white coat and his face is fixed. He doesn't have the stab mark anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not.
They weren't big changes.
Yeah. I mean,
But I do. The thing of like going through those flashing back to his forms while him talking his dialogue in the present, like that's just an idea that's stuck with me forever since doing that. Like that's so cool, of showing the flashbacks but add like the characters as reacting to it like in the present through their dialogue.
Yeah,
in those
yeah.
moments.
No, that was super good.
Like
They
that's extremely sick.
they fucking got me with that shit. Here I am, like trying to count Rice Boy's transformations or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
oh, he got cut off of this person's face. Maybe that's one. Oh, he got like shrunk. That's one. All this other stuff, and then no.
Oh yeah. I mean, it could have been Rice Boy says both of them have filled. It could be either one of them.
Yeah, Harry Potter style.
Sure.
From what I remember, I don't
Rice
remember
Boy.
that one.
Rice. I don't want to get into it.
Yeah, fair.
Rice Boy getting shrunk down and finding the civilization of the tiny people, and the way he learns their language, with them like yelling at him to learn it and then like try to kill him until he learns the words that make you fall apart.
Yeah, or like make shit split in half. Like he uses it on dude,
Yeah.
he uses it on the door. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Like it opened this door, and then he uses it on the person in their head. They get decapitated. I'm like, oh, it wasn't just the door. Like this is a general halvesies command.
Opens it. Yeah, man. This commands the world. It's like you're speaking to the elements here. That shit was sick.
I love that kind of shit. And it's, I mean, it like as we have said a bunch already. Like it's just getting a little and wanting more, but you don't necessarily get the more. So then it just makes you really fucking want more, which sits in a way. But it's like for everything. Like we get that we get the taste of that language. We get the. I mean, even the dude with the one-off guy that's talking to the Frog King. And he has like the little people in his fucking bottle hat or whatever. It is like, what the... Yeah. And then you learn what those are, and you're like, what the fuck? Just all this shit. What a weird... It's just such a weird little thing that I never knew existed. Like, I'd never heard of this ever. And that's even, like, coming off of, like, a webcomic phase, I suppose, more or less, in, like, early mid 2010s where I was reading like shitloads of webcomics and trying to like look up which ones are worth checking out and stuff. I never saw it.
Yeah, just it was, you know, in my webcomic phase, it was one of my favorites. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
I have the physical book.
Hell yeah. I'd be down for a physical book of this. There was I was also thinking of what I was reading because there was the other kind of it was early enough in like my webcomic discovery phase that I didn't really understand what I was getting into, where it was like the high fantasy shit. So I'm like, oh, this is really cool, and it has all this stuff going on, and then like the art is really good, but then it's so expansive, and you get lost so easily. I have like the first book or two of it, and there's like so many now, and I just but one Rice Boy book sounds kind of tempting.
Yeah,
that's digestible.
Yeah, this one's surprisingly, it's very digestible. Yeah, I don't know. He just like the calibration was just correct with this work. I don't know. There's like just enough of stuff.
Yeah, it's you get a great. It's like a great meal.
And you know, in 2006, that gimmick of the One Electronic's face, so he's being some like TV photograph or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Yeah, this is prime shit.
Well, because like, I mean, I read Saga first, or whatever Saga was out, so like that's what I think of when I think of TV head. But this would have been before that.
Yep,
it's pretty good.
That's why I look at Saga. I'm like, it's been done. TV head, seen it.
There was something else that did
Rice Boy.
TV
There's
head.
Fooly Cooley.
Oh yeah, Fooly Cooley. There was something else I thought. I swear there was another.
Probably.
Maybe it was just like a one-off thing that I read or something. But there was like a TV head, and I'm like, eh. I'm not a huge fan of that concept. Like, it's fine, but
Sure.
I don't know, man. Shit's good.
Yeah. And like I read this right when I was in the phase of like thinking origin myth stuff was fucking sick, so
Oh
I
yeah,
fucking lapped this up. I was all about this.
yeah, man.
And one electronic TOE gets stabbed in the face and then starts saying an origin myth.
Dude,
like hell yeah.
that scene and that writing was incredible. Like that was such a good. I was eating that up. That was delicious. Like that's such a good way to do a bit of exposition and like history and shit. It's just incredible.
Yeah. And just like they go to that fucking that giant, and he's like, stop, and he's like, only those bearing the mark of seed may enter.
Yeah.
And then he like
right, the King of
just
the Sea,
his whole hand falls off and turns into a little chair on the hand.
Yeah, for the bone or whatever, the muscle and shit.
Well, electronic's like, I'll be back by dark. And the guy's like, fucking, what are you doing? We have to go.
Dude, when he meets the other machine guy and he like he's getting angry at Dolly, the frog, and the one electronic is like, be quiet. He just fucking shocks him. Like,
And then he's like, I'm going to bed. And the other robot's like, you're crazy.
yeah, he's like, wait, you sleep now? It's like, I thought you were a legend. You're just insane. Man, or even like, I mean, kind of on that note, because like, you know, one electronic like went away with his brothers and like shit happened and stuff, and then with Jaren, like his brother got eaten, and then no, it turns out like his brother is the apprentice to the, what is it, Rimrick?
Rimrod.
That was close. Like that kind of trope, like just it's there. Oh. There's just so much fucking fit into here, and it all just clicks so good. It's definitely one of those episodes. It's just so fucking good.
It's just good, you know? Sometimes things are just good.
This is also like pretty short.
And like the amount,
so, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. And like the amount of emotion he gets out of Rice Boy, it's just like,
oh, dude,
two circles. But like,
yeah, like it's so simple,
man.
but like even he does such a good job of like saving it, like for how Rice Boy acts through like the majority of the comic, and then right at the end when he's saying that like one of us needs to die, and he's like he looks like a little ragged, like, and he's just kind of like speaking in a different, like, that shit hits because we haven't seen it before, and he only busts it out here, like at the climax, and it's so good. It works super well.
He's gone through some shit.
Yeah.
You know? He went on a whole journey.
Oh man, and then we get the bit with,
I love when he lies. When he lies to that guy and says he's a wizard.
oh shit, the dude's like, wait a minute, why aren't you armed? Why are you here alone and like looking helpless? What's your game?
Are you holy?
Yeah, are you holy? Are you a wizard? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a wizard. Oh my god, the dude just immediately believes it.
Wizard.
And even the way they're like, that's a great example of like how he just sneaks in like these tropes of like political shit that's going on, and that you could spend 800 pages on if you're like George R.R. Martin or something, with like, oh, I'm claiming this land, but there's like people here, shouldn't we give them time to evacuate? Nah, not my problem, you're trespassing. Like, shit's great. Like, just getting that bit of it instead of dwelling on, that's the stuff like I can't stomach a lot of, because reality. I don't need more of that shit. But
Sure.
getting like the little taste of it, knowing like the little, almost like a wink and a nod sort of deal, like feels good. Lets me be a little pissy about things that deserve to be pissy about, and then we move on to cool shit. We move on to the wizard shit, and how Rice Boy is a benevolent wizard who doesn't smite people.
And like, yeah, I don't know. Like, so much of this is like, this is just a story by one person who made a complete thing.
Yeah.
And like, that's not what most media is.
Yeah.
Like, he just did the thing and finished it.
Dude, the fact that like he just finished the thing, and it's not like an ongoing whatever, like, there's that space in my life for webcomics.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got your questionable contents and all that shit, but like, God, there's just something so nice about a thing that does what it sets out to do and then calls it a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's just good.
It's a good time. I highly recommend, like, out of the stuff we've been doing, like, I can easily recommend this shit. I think if you sit, like, this is gonna be like a couple hours at best of reading, and that's in heavy quotes. Lot of no dialogue pages and sections even.
Yeah. It's just solid. I gave this book to my mom at one point, you know?
Yeah? She really like it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I just noticed there's a pull quote from Jeff Smith on the inside front cover. He did Bone.
Oh, what did he say?
Took me a couple of days to read Rice Boy, and when I wasn't reading it, I couldn't wait until I was.
Nice. I feel like this is the sort of thing my mom would immediately make fun of for how it looks, and then she would get absolutely hooked, and she would destroy it in like a single hour sitting. She would talk shit, and I'd be like, yeah, no, that was really good. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree in that way.
Sure. Rice Boy's, he's just a little guy.
He's just
this is like epitome of just a little guy.
At one point, he says like verbatim, "But I'm just a rice boy," and that was great. But I'm just a rice boy. It's too good, dude. And yeah. I also, you mentioned like Hero's Journey and that sort of like Chosen One, Hero's Journey. We get all this stuff. It really hit the spot for me that even unlike The Hobbit or anything, like, he's not actually fighting, Like, it's not like he ever has to learn to fight or, like, do this shit. Like, he's just bumping along. Which I think, for me,
no, he doesn't even have any powers until, the very end when he's learned the word. But
yeah, and
he
even
only
then,
uses that once.
Yeah, he uses it once. Not for lack of trying. He does try it again. But I don't know. That just really hit. Like, just having a protagonist that's not needing to do this, but like still going through their big quests and all of that stuff. It's just very good. There was the novel that I read a bit back that I expected to be smut, but was actually just cute adventure with a little bit of smut near the end. There was a little there was a little bit of that, and it also really hit. Like, he does magic stuff, but like aside from a couple instances, and like he does the whole like learning to use the sword kind of shit, but it doesn't come up super frequently. And I really liked how most of his contributions were like doing like a bit of healing magic or like very practical shit. Like, they're on the road and someone's like, I gotta use the bathroom, and they come back, he's like, yo, do you want clean hands? And he like, does like clean like hot water and soap and shit like out of thin air, like that sort of stuff. or like he saves the day by knowing how to bind a book properly, like that sort of thing. I don't know. That kind of shit
Yeah.
just hits.
Mm-hmm. Like he's special because he's just a little guy.
Yeah.
It's like important part of it. He doesn't like stop just being
Yeah.
a little guy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's all.
He doesn't. He's not like the strongest warrior in the world or whatever.
Yeah.
Not the toughest or.
I've
something.
seen some people like pull away weird takes from The Hobbit on that note, where like Bilbo doesn't want to go on his journey, and he's also just kind of a little guy who wants to sit and eat and have his tea and whatever else. And he goes on this big adventure, and like he gets back and he's still just a little guy. Like he had this adventure and he likes talking about it and stuff, but like he's also just, he wants to sit and eat. And like, dude, like he doesn't need another one. And I see some people get like, I don't know, it's like they forget that part of the book, like at the end where he's like, thank goodness the world is bigger than me. Like I don't want any of that.
Sure.
I like that shit.
Yeah.
'Cause I too just want to sit and eat.
It's
For me,
relatable.
yeah. I'm also just
I'm also just a little guy.
in the scheme of things, you know. You're not little. You're like fucking 7 feet tall. Don't even start with me. I'm also not little unless I'm standing next to you. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I would say it just hit better than Lord of the Rings for me in terms of doing the same stuff. I don't know. Obviously, there's still, in terms of like just doing that hero's journey plot straight or whatever, I feel like.
Yeah.
Now, that's partially because of just like, it just feels a little streamlined.
I mean, yeah.
And it's a comic, and I like comics.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
It's also because like what I like about the Lord of the Rings is kind of different stuff than the main plot.
yeah, that's actually what I was just gonna say. Like, I'm kind of not there for the actual hero's journey and that direct stuff. Like, I'm there for so many other things. It's fine. It's not really one of them.
Yeah. But I would say that is still the heart of what that thing is.
Oh, totally. It's just,
And it's just interesting. Like, this is like what makes me say that thing is good. Like, that story trope is good. Like, I might look at Lord of the Rings and still say that story trope is like whatever. Because what's interesting about this is kind of in the margins of that. Whereas with this, I would say, no, that's just a fine way to build your story.
Sure.
And it could just be that.
Out of curiosity,
If it's done well. Like with everything, it has to be done well.
Like, do you have other things like hero journey type stuff that like falls into being pretty good for you? I mean, like, the thing that comes to my mind immediately is like Star Wars.
Sure.
Or oddly, The Matrix, because for some reason in high school when we were talking about the hero's journey, that's what like our teacher was referencing. I don't know why, but like there's so many other things, but she was real set on using The Matrix as the example.
It got that's a movie that got in under people's skin, or like it lodged in their brains in an unlodgeable way.
Yeah. I mean, no complaints, but
Yeah. I don't know, not really. I feel like but generic fantasy is just trash, so I don't know. So often.
yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know that I have firm examples to back up what I'm saying even.
No, that's
Put
fair.
something in front of me and I'll tell you if it's good or not. I don't know.
The great fucking filter. Hank at a desk as we lay books and comics in front of him.
Like, this is boring. This is good.
Yeah.
More of this.
Yeah, we got 3 piles. Shit, fine, and please God, give me more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here
I
for
don't
it.
know. Anyway, I think that's a podcast.
Yeah.
Salt Circle Podcast, gmail.com. Salt Circle Pod on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at Comic Panels.
I'm not on Twitter. /X.